Hi DOPs! I'm glad to share my experience and show how I shoot commercials. Today, we will take a look at one of my recent works, a commercial for Whiskas brand. Today I will finally show you how it was actually shot. I suggest we start with the window. We'll see how 10 kilowatt fixture is working and we'll keep adding the rest, because we rely on the imitation of the sound for the most part. We were shooting in a large pavilion, inside of which the scenery was built. It was a pretty simple scenery, 2 walls forming an angle and a little bit of ceiling. Our main camera angle was like this, so that we could see both the window and the kitchen furniture. There was also an island bench to make our kitchen look not too barren. The video itself was actually 6 seconds only. What I'm showing you right now is us trying to make a 8-second long director's cut. There were only 3 scenes. The first was quite a difficult one. That was a demonstration part where the ingredients were lifted and then dropped onto the bowl as cat food. That is a very eye-catching scene. We will take a deeper look at that in the end. First of all, we started shooting the scene with a cat while he was hungry, as production company asked. So the idea was to have the cat shot in the morning and then let him go and focus on the remaining scenes. I don't think we'll illuminate the backgrounds with this. Yes, like that, that's good. Let's also place a 5 kilowatt fixture here and direct to that furniture. And place the diffusion frame as well, but at a slight angle. What furniture exactly? This island. We need some light spots. You can use a diffusion frame. Quarter density. Those lamps are not rotating, are they? No, but we can turn them on one by one. In terms of powerful sources of light, we had a warm 10 kilowatt fixture and a 12 lamp LED jumbo panel, Lightman Lux 12. They are quite new on the market and I already started using it. The advantages are very powerful light, more powerful than a 10 kilowatt, but only consumes about 1 kilowatt, so it can be plugged to a standard electrical socket. You don't need an external power generator, which is not the case with a 10 kilowatt lamp. At the same time, because it's an LED panel, the color temperature is adjustable from 2800K to 6500K. In order to make the old jumbos emit a cold light, we would need a ton of filters and still would obtain a poor light. Actually, I like this soft light it provides, as if there was a diffusion frame. It's not bad, but I would create a shadow here on the kitchen island. Yes, I'm taking a look just to see how we illuminate it. Raise the sky panel 1 meter higher if the stand allows to. Initially, I thought we would need quite a lot of fill-in light to make the room bright. For this purpose, I installed a 12 feet diffusion frame on the left, half density. And in order to illuminate it uniformly, I installed SkyPanel S360 that was able to illuminate the entire frame and provide the fill-in light for the scenery. I think we're missing the light spot in one area. We need to place a 5 kilowatt fixture here and direct it right there between the furniture and the refrigerator. From this height. And I think we can now mount a source of backlight to the ceiling. Regardless from what kind of walls there are behind my camera, whether they are bright or dark, I try to always place a large black frames behind me and the camera to avoid an unnecessary reflections coming from the walls. This white wall, for example, can provide reflections. Besides, we were shooting a little cat, so my intention was to avoid any possible distractions and make him feel comfortable, which is why I darkened everything. We need an 8 feet diffusion frame on the left for the cat. SkyPanel S60 will be illuminating it, but it should be placed higher, like this. Move the jumbo back a little bit, by half a meter. Good. As a side key light for our cat and his food, I placed SkyPanel S60 shining through an 8 feet diffusion frame. Alright, but don't make it the warmest, around 3200 K. The second end of the pipe should be there, and we'll place the source of light somewhere in the middle where the stools are, or a bit closer to us. Somewhere here, yes. But we need to cover the feet with a black cloth so that the plugs are not visible. We also installed another SkyPanel S60 above and covered it with an octadome. In addition, there was a grid to limit the diffusion of light onto the furniture and other things on the scenery. So the light eventually was directed down from up above. But for the most part, I needed it to illuminate the bowl with the cat food beautifully. Because we were not only shooting the cat that is vertically aligned, but also the food that was more horizontally aligned, and that we hence needed to illuminate from above as well. Initially, for shooting from the lowest point, since the cat was small, I ordered PS Technics Cater Mini Dolly that I also intended to use for some movement. This is a very convenient skater. The camera is almost on the floor level, and its wheels allow for a smooth movement in any direction. Any trajectory can be set up. The movements are very precise. And it was quite inexpensive to rent, around $25. It turned out to be higher than we needed, plus the director wanted a static scene, which is why I ended up not using this skater. But it was worth trying anyways. At first we tried using a 25mm lens. I wanted the frame to be as wide as possible to see all the space, the entire scenery from one edge to another. After all, we were building it, so why not show it? That is why we intended to position the cat further away from the kitchen, to the very edge. So we moved back to be able to see the scenery of a kitchen behind the cat. Let's turn these two sky panels off for now, just to see how it is. Oh, now I see that there's too much light from that jumbo. Let's use the floppy. I think that the carpet should be placed somewhere else. Perhaps here on the left. It simply blends with the floor. I think it will look better on the left side of the frame. Or on the right. It's better on the left. We can roll one side of it and place the other here on the left. Yes, right here. We can move it even closer. That edge can be moved back, not that much. Could you please step away? You're casting a shadow. It still looks kind of white, very pale. Let's try another carpet we have. Do we focus on the cat or the food? Or both? Both? Okay. We can increase the contrast. One of our sky panels is off right now. I like the shadows there. Without them, it was pretty uninteresting. Looks good. Or do we want to do something about these reflections on the left? Here? Well, we could use the grid. But actually it looks like as if there were two windows and this light was coming from another one that is out of the frame. Yes, exactly. So it's pretty natural right now. It was placed good. We simply need to make some minor adjustments. Like this. What if we raise the stand? Raise a bit higher. Oh wait, there's a cool shadow from the kitchen island now. But place it a little to the back and to the right. Yes, looks good. Can you lower the stand now? The kilowatt lamp, directed somewhere there. We need some light spots because now it is kind of dark there. Let's move the backlight closer to the scenery and raise it higher. I think we need to place that closer to the stand. And closer to the plant. A little more. More. Stop, like this. We have received the feedback regarding the background. There's too many things right now grabbing attention. We need to make accent on this area and not focus on what's in the background. So suggestions are to get rid of the stools or zoom in. I would prefer not to zoom in, but I can blur the background by adjusting the diaphragm. Yes, let's blur the background, get rid of the stools, and as to the light, we will need two beams here on the floor. Okay, we can bring them back and turn off the backlight on the ceiling. Seems too wide. Perhaps we could try a 35mm lens. Give me that, please. What lens is this now? 25? Yes. We had everything ready and showed the picture to the client, who by the way was not present on the set. He was monitoring everything that we streamed from our camera remotely from the office or home. And only the agency representative was present on the set. The client said he did not like the picture. In his opinion, the backgrounds were too attention-grabbing and sharp. There were too many details. And the lighting seemed too uniform, while the client wanted to see sunbeams across the floor, more contrast. That is why we changed the lens from 25mm to 35mm. stepped back a little bit due to the fact that we used a larger lens, and due to the fact that we used a larger lens, the depth of field decreased and we managed to blur the background a little more. Let's move back a little more. Move the cat closer. So we turned this off, right? Let's turn it back on. We need a beam of light here across the floor. But without touching the furniture. A little closer to the fridge. A little higher, perhaps? Perhaps we should move this pink curtain to the left. Alex, we need a flag to create a deep shadow here. So the flag should be right there. I think we should turn this island a little bit like this. We had to exclude the general fill-in light from the 12 feet frame in order to create visible sunbeams on the floor. We also ended up not utilizing the backlight attached to the ceiling and directed at the cat to minimize the illumination of the floor, to make it dark in order to ensure that our sunbeams are actually visible. We had to do this because the backlight illuminated the entire floor. It's best if we do that from that side. We will not see from where the light is coming anyways, and I simply need to illuminate the carpet. Place it close to the refrigerator. But make it look like a beam. Like this, yes. Cover it on the left slightly. Keep covering. More. More. Yes, like this. Make the beam wider. Lower the brightness. Yeah, use the dimmer. Increase it a bit. Like this. Where is the light that was directed onto the cat and the bowl? It's still there. We did not change anything. Say we turned it back on. We need to change the actress's dress. The yellow creates reflections on the bowl. We need to move the flag back a little, it blocks the light. This part of the kitchen was darkened. We did this by turning the backlight attached to the ceiling and thus obtained these long shadows. Will this color suit? No, we need something neutral, white or gray. Good. There's some hair under the bowl. We need to get rid of it. Then we went on to shoot the back shot. For the back shot, we placed the camera directly against the kitchen furniture. Let's mount the camera and see how it is. For the light coming from the window, I placed a 5 kilowatt fixture. It served as backlight for the cat, looking over the table, looking at the food placed on the table. This light was justified by the fact that there was a window on the left, so the backlight could be coming from there. Above the Whiskas pack, we placed an octodome with SkyPanel S60 to create a soft key light. We could not direct the light from the camera's side because the packaging was glossy and would definitely reflect the light straight onto the camera. That would not be good. In order to ensure a uniform illumination of the product and avoid flares, I placed the source of light above, made it soft by using a large octodome. In addition, I did have the fill-in light. It was SkyPanel S360, shining through a half-density 12-feet diffusion frame. I think it was a light grid, don't quite remember now. It helped obtain the pleasant flares. Our task was to avoid only those flares that would look not good. Can we raise it higher? Sure. For pack shot, the camera was mounted onto Magnum dolly. At first we wanted to dolly in. We tried it to see how it would look, but eventually we decided to truck the camera from left to right, keeping the composition in the center and creating a slight movement of the background. Here's what we have now, and here's what we had in the previous scene. The background levels match perfectly, but the colors are a bit different. Here it is a bit yellower. I would also like to tell you about how we worked with DIT. DIT stands for Digital Imaging Technician. This person is responsible for the image. There is actually an interview with that DIT guy on OPERPOST channel, where he tells about who he is, what he does as DIT, and what it is for. In this particular video, he was also monitoring the color temperature to ensure that it remained the same from frame to frame. I used a mixed light, made the lighting warmer, sometimes colder, and as we changed the angle, he checked the consistency of the color compared to previous frames and gave advice regarding how I should adjust the color. For example, make the backlight warmer, etc., etc. He used an exposure meter to check whether we need to adjust the brightness and a spectrometer to measure the color temperature for the same adjustment purpose. In addition, he made a preliminary color correction which helped the client see almost final version of the colors that we intended to obtain eventually after the complete color correction. Okay, I will ask to make the light warmer. We need to direct the light from jumbo into the upper corner of this diffusion frame, but only use 4 of its lamps. Let's check the yellow now that I made adjustments. The shadowed area should be yellower now. We have the white in our frames for the most part. Well, we can adjust it then, no problem. As to the green, it's only here. I assume that the client will want this area to be more neutral. We could move further back, or we could blur the background. What diaphragm we have now? 2.8. So we won't be able to blur it. The angle? 40. Well, in the photo script it was 20 or 30. We could use a 65mm lens. Yesterday we filmed the pack shot using a 100mm lens. Yeah, let's try using a 65mm lens. We need 2 floppies to cover the lower part of the diffusion frame. Not up to the middle, but up to this point. Open it up a little more. Yes. No, it's closed again. Yes, like this. We need to make the shadow on the furniture here on the left like it is on the right. Remember I told you about the tiles in the background? I think we need to eliminate them from here, from above the flag. Let's just try and see what we can do. Direct the light where the spoons are. Illuminate the wooden spoons. And above them there are mugs. Direct the light right there. A little to the right. Like this. A little more. And make the beam wider. Wait, no. Let's use the diffusion frame. We'll use a quarter density. And we need to use the flag to create a shadow from the 5 kilowatt fixture here across the table. Open them wider to make the spot bigger. Like this. You made it yellower? Yes, is it too much? We've made the backlight yellower. Only the backlight? I also added a warm light there to add yellowness to the shadows. Is it not working as we planned? This light is reaching the product a little bit, yes. We need that light to be 3000K. But now it is 2700K. Alright, let's make it 3000K. Later, we decided to shoot that part where the food was lifted. The idea was to lift the source ingredients. They are elevated from the plate and immediately fall back down, but already as the cat food. So a kind of morphing from ingredients into the finished product would be shown. We shot this in 3 stages. We shot the ingredients laying on the table first. We shot them being lifted separately because the vegetables like carrots tended to wither. I mean their green parts. If we shot this part later, by that time those vegetables laying around the bowl would not look good, become withered and way less pleasant. So while it was all fresh, we quickly shot them on the table. Later we shot the source ingredients being lifted. And after that, using chroma key we shot the landing of the cat food. Why chroma key? Because the plate from which the ingredients were elevated and the bowl with the cat food were different in terms of the size. We did not manage to find identical. That is why, in order not to spend too much time framing, SFX guys advised us to shoot this using chroma key. We discussed other options, but we were asked to shoot using chroma key. And since we were asked to do so, we did exactly like that. Turn the 5 kilowatt fixture around and create shadows across the table. We also need the backlight directed diagonally. And we can use Octodome, by the way. We can place it here and direct to the cat food. Yes, this should be the backlight, so you need a 30-45 degrees angle. Turn off the 10 kilowatt fixture and what else is there? Jumbo? Okay. Turn this all off. There's no need to stretch like this. Stop here. Otherwise, it may not be as stable. Do we have a polarizing filter? Can you try getting rid of this flare on the floor? I would like to decrease the aperture of the diaphragm. Well, I need more focus. The food will be lifted, so I really need more focus. Guys, let's place a jumbo instead of this 5 kilowatt fixture. Careful with the cable. Guys, we need to make the color temperature warmer. We need it to be between 2800 and 3000K. The light is 5600K. Let's remove the grid from the Octodome. We don't need them now. Look, when I place my arm here, it casts a shadow. I suggest that we use a flag here and another one there. Are we in the right spot? Is it attached already? I can move it if needed. A little to the right. Little more. That's it, stop. Fix it as tight as possible to avoid any movement. Cover it on the right a little more. It's all good. It looks as if the light was coming through the curtains. Soft but still pronounced. Move it a little, please. But move it within a broader range. Raise it perhaps, so that nothing limits its movement. Open it. Yes, wait, bring back a little. I cannot really see all the readings. Does the polarizing filter do anything at all? Any effect? Okay, let's remove it then. The light scheme was pretty simple. A large octodome was above the table. We did the same for the back shot, and a very powerful backlight was provided by a 12 lamp jumbo. And since it had 3 rows of lamps, when placing a flag in front of it, we obtained triple shadows on the table, which was not good for us. But using a 4 feet diffusion frame helped solve the problem. We simply placed it close to the source of light, and as a result, it fit perfectly, and we got rid of triple shadows. Here we had 2 sources of light. A soft overhead backlight is provided by SkyPanel S60 with an octodome attached to it, and a powerful source of side backlight was located on the left. In addition, 2 flags were placed here to create shadows on the surface of the floor, to give it more texture. There's nothing more boring than a yellow and a very flat light on the table shot from above. It really lacks volume, which is why I always add some kind of diagonal shadows, as I think it makes the surface of the table a lot more interesting, with some areas brighter than the other. We used Red Gemini camera. Initially, we wanted to use Alexa that is capable of capturing 200 frames per second video. But during test shooting, we understood that we did not need this frame rate, and that 100 FPS would suit our needs. That is why we decided to use Red Gemini, to have a higher resolution to be able to crop the image. Besides, in this part of the video, the director initially wanted the camera to rotate around the axis. But eventually, because this was shot in 3 parts, it was decided to make everything static. Crop the image during post-production and dolly out and rotate the frame using software. For this purpose, we shot in 4K, and in this mode Red Gemini is able to shoot at 120 FPS. When we were shooting the food falling into the bowl, I noticed that it looked dark from one side and bright from the other side. That is why I installed a light reflecting panel on the camera side, which helped reflect the backlight from the jumbo to eliminate the cat food. We needed this because the food itself was quite dark brown. Let's gloss over what we've already talked about. In the beginning, we see the ingredients being elevated from the plate. Then there's transition, after which the cat food is falling back into the bowl. All the ingredients laying on the table around the plate were shot separately. When we were lifting the food, they were not in the frame. The ingredients were lifted by a transparent plate that you could have seen earlier. In the center there was a hole, and all of that was cleaned up during post-production so that it would not be visible at all. As the cat food is falling into the cat bowl, we can see some pieces fall over the bowl onto the ingredients. You can see it here. This piece is kind of falling onto the carrot. And because we were shooting this using chroma key, we were able to remove that piece and make everything look natural. If we did not use chroma key, it would be very difficult to remove that piece, as it is almost of the same color that the table is. The wood is bright brown, and so are some pieces of the cat food. This frame is CG. Later there is a scene with a cat. Here we can see that the green kitchen furniture was colored gray during color correction, although initially the client himself asked to make the kitchen green. It turns out that eventually he changed his mind. Here a 10 kilowatt source of light is illuminating the window. The light mainly falls onto the kitchen furniture, creates flares, it reflects in a glossy apron. I especially asked to bring a glossy one in order to obtain bright spots on its surface, because I love when there are both bright and dark areas in the frame. That is why that corner is dark, while there are brighter spots here and there in the frame. On the left, a 650 provides a slight gradient. The backlight is provided by a 12 lamp jumbo. It illuminates the bowl, creates this beam on the floor, and illuminates the carpet. We created shadows on the carpet by using flags. On the right, everything was darkened by a large black frame. Above the cat, there was a large octodome providing an overhead key light or the fill-in light. Call it whatever you wish. It also illuminates the hand, the food. Also on the left there was an 8 feet diffusion frame into which SkyPanel S60 was shining, providing the side key light for the cat and the bowl. There were also some sources of light behind the kitchen island for extra spots of light. And a small detail light is illuminating the pink carpet on the right. We can see the spot here. For pack shot, the same 10 kilowatt fixture was used to illuminate the background shining through the window. In the corner, there was a 5 kilowatt fixture providing the backlight for our cat and the food. Above the table, there was a large octodome, illuminating everything that was laying on the floor. There was a 12 feet frame on the left illuminating pretty much everything, providing the fill-in light, making the greenery brighter. And to avoid unnecessary flares on the surface of the packaging, we placed 2 floppies on the left. Well, that was all for today. I do hope that it was useful. I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, bye!